Hey there. I wanted to share a little bit of information about a device I've come across. I'm not a reviewer or anything, just a user. And the product I wanted to talk about is this device called a Plugmate, which is about the size of a USB key and comes in this little box with an authentication code and a little connector for your cell phone. It's USB-C and it's supposed to be a very secure second Android operating system device, like a phone inside a phone, or like a Windows or like an Android phone inside a Windows computer. So I've had a chance to sort of test this out for a week with four different Android phones and with my Windows computer. My interest initially in this is that none of my devices are what I would consider very secure because most of them are older devices. The laptop is about 7 years old, and Windows is sort of sunsetting support for Windows 10. I've extended it for 1 year, but that deadline's coming up. And my other phones that I use are all older Android phones. So I was looking for something that I could use for when I'm doing financials, which I generally do on this computer. So I'll show you that first, how it works. But I'll cut to the bottom line in case you don't want to watch to the end. This device seems to be very secure. It seems to work pretty well, but the Windows version of the Plug OS, which is how you're allowed to use this device, is in beta, and it has a few features that have to be updated to make it more usable. And the same thing's true for the phones. And I'll get into that for a bit. But let me move these out of the way and let's plug it in and I'll kind of show you how it works. So it's USB-C, so you just plug it into your USB-C port. And as you can see, I have the, the Plugmate app right here. And after you plug it in for a few minutes, it will eventually come up with allowing you to connect the Plugmate and go into the Android environment. And sometimes it doesn't go. It is beta software, so sometimes it doesn't go on the first try. If it doesn't go on the first try, usually what you're prompted to do is plug it a second time. And of course, once the device, what it will do once you get started up inside the Android environment is it's basically going to, I'm going to put my hand over the code. It's basically going to hijack all of your peripherals. So it'll allow you to use the camera on your computer or the keyboard or the trackpad or mouse. So it's pretty full featured. The one area it's kind of lacking that makes it a beta software is that you're going to be inside of this Android window here, and you can landscape it. You can flip it on its side, but what you get is the text is not yet uh, restructuring to the right direction. It's not reorienting. And I've kind of contacted them, and they said, in the next version of the Plug OS, that will be corrected. So we're kind of waiting to see. But um, inside the window here, it's really kind of a very, um, just like you being on your Android phone. So you can launch apps. This is what Reddit would look like. Works just like normal. You can do it from the app, or you can do it from a web browser. And you can close things. And for something like a YouTube or a YouTube front end, um, A video will look like this. And if you go in full screen, you'll see you can landscape the full screen, and although the text will, or inside of some apps, it will orient the right way. It will look kind of normal.
I don't understand what you're saying yet.
What I'm saying is that, for example, I've heard you say multiple times that, MAGA voters are personally responsible for the mess we're in. Is that accurate? Okay. So what I'd like to suggest,
how would you blame you can use swipes inside.
I would blame those in positions of power that have more of a.
You can use swiping inside of it to go back and forth between pages. So right now it works pretty well, and I can do like banking apps and buy things securely from inside of it, but it doesn't go into a big picture or a large window in the landscape mode, which is what I would like them to do. And I've written them, and they said they're going to correct that. So that's kind of what we are. And when you're ready to disconnect, you're going to come here and choose the shutdown. And then it just unplugs. So in terms of the phones I've used it on so far, I'm a keyboard phone person. So I've tried it on 4 different phones. And the downside on the Android is it works really great on the Android, except for that the keyboards are not yet enabled. And again, I've written them about that, and they said that they're going to try to bring that online, at least for the Titan brand, the Unihertz Titans brands of phones, which there's 5 keyboard phones of that type. So when you use it on a phone, I prefer doing it this way, where you're going to plug it into your phone. And I'm going to show you on my Pixel here. This is a Pixel with graphene on it. And plug it in this way. So now the key is in the back. Okay, and again, you're kind of sort of in the same situation here. You're in the Plug OS, and you'll just choose Enter. And you do have a shared folder that you can use from the Android phone to the Plug OS Android. But you have a lot of choice once you get inside to basically lock everything else out. The Plug OS is AOSP version of Android, so you really have control over the permissions and what's given access on everything. And as I say, this phone is running graphene, so I wasn't sure it would work for this, but it does work just fine. Okay, so now you're inside that, and you can just kind of launch anything that you want to launch. So this phone is obviously de-Googled, so I use mostly F-Droid and Aurora Store. But everything works pretty well. You can see it'll play videos okay. It's not particularly slow.
So you don't think the individual voters have a duty and a responsibility to investigate and learn and make responsible positions, that they should not be held responsible when they just follow propaganda?
So you can see that's kind of how it works. And what's great is when you get things set up and you move it from one phone to another phone, you move it from the computer to the phone. Once you're back inside the environment, everything is just like you had it set up. There's one consistent system without having to do any syncing or anything like that. So talking about like what the use cases for this would be is um, for this phone, this is a modern phone. It's Android 14. Um, like I say, it's graphene, and I I don't have any need to like make this necessarily more private or secure, or make this phone um, like bring it up to date. But for these older phones that I would like to keep using, if they could get the keyboard working, this phone is on Android 10, and it's not had security updates for a very long time. It's certainly not um, secure. And the same thing for this is a Key 2 LE, a BlackBerry Key 2 LE, and it works great. This is my media phone. I stream everything to my TV from this. But again, it's like not really secure. So like being able to have a second operating system for both of these phones, and that kind of depends upon them getting the keyboard working. But I could see people that had maybe, if you had an old phone that you really liked and it's stuck on Android 8 or 9 or 10, and you really just want to update the Android and get security patches, like this could be a way to go. Just all you'd have to do is plug this in, and you're kind of in a new phone, and you can still reuse your, you know, your if you're satisfied with your camera and you're satisfied with your screen and all that other stuff, and your performance is okay for what you do with a phone, that would be a good way to sort of update it. So the last question that would have to be addressed is like, as it is, it's kind of not a super finished product, if you ask me. But are they going to improve it? And like, I've reached out to them a number of times, and it really does sound like they're really going to like keep upgrading the updating the Plug OS, and they're seem like they're they correspond and seem like they're very open to like trying to add a feature. Like it wouldn't be very hard for them to add support for like this keyboard, this physical keyboard. Um, and they've kind of responded positively. So I'm pretty hopeful. But for the $199 introductory price, like I find this was well worth it. I think at very minimum, I would use it for my Windows computer to have it in a secure environment when I do any kind of my banking or other financial things on this computer, so that I can keep using this computer for that. And the phone will be a plus if I can get it working. And actually, it works just great on this modern Pixel graphene Pixel. So th- that's a for sure thing, I think, right at this point. So that's all I wanted to say. I'll show you how you quit on the phone. You hit that to quit on the phone. You hit that. Wait, it's not doing what I want. You're supposed to hit that little dot right there. Maybe I need to open it to it. Huh? Not wanting to cooperate. Let's go back to the main window. Anyway, you hit that little dot right there, and it'll give you the quit menu most of the time, apparently. Okay. If you have questions, you can ask me questions. I may or may not know the answer, but I'll try to respond. Okay. Thanks for watching.